Sunday sike sandwendela isithili sasembolweni nemgababa vele KwaZulu Natal apho sifunde ngenkqubo eyolula isandla soncedo yebandla St Agnes. Masifunde ke ngendlela lenkqubo yelibandla isombulula ngayo ingxaki zokuhlala kubahlali.
Basically, the history of St Agnes began in the late 1890s when it was basically a church plant from St John's in Pinetown. And there wasn't a church in Kloof at that point. Kloof was a very rural area. The priest from Pinetown would ride up on horseback up Fields Hill to Kloof and conduct services in the Kloof station, which is now Stoker's pub. And eventually in 1904, this piece of land which we're on right now was donated to us, and a wood and iron church was built, and it was called the Church of the Holy Spirit. And that's where the first church services began, probably in Kloof. Later on, in 1936, that church got very small for us, and this current church that we're in was built, and it was a proper stone church. And yeah, 2 years ago, we got too full for this, and now in 2007, we've built a nice big 1,000-seater auditorium.
I'm employed in this church as a pastor, a Zulu pastor, mainly for Zulu ministry. We call it a Zulu ministry, which really I meet the needs of black people and engage them to the life here in St Agnes. I'm a person who loves people. I love connecting to people. I love to see people being empowered spiritually, physically, intellectually, in every area of their life. So I started to come in St Agnes as voluntary to minister to people, as I'm a Christian, and I love to minister to people. So it's my calling, it's what God has called me, it's my passion, and daily I see God healing people's heart, mind, and soul, and body. So it's a really fulfilling job. I don't think there's anything else on earth I can do except what I'm doing. When I started to be in full-time ministry, or when I started to being a Christian, it was all about speaking the message, speaking the message, speaking the message, and not living. But God did challenge me as it changed me to be a personal thing, to be in a relationship with Him far more than what I do. So what I do in the service, it's an outcome of my relationship with God. And yes, I am fully inspired by scriptures. It's something being inspired by God within me.
Our first point of call is that our faith is an encounter with Jesus Christ. And so our worship is we enter into the very real presence of Jesus, and anybody, young or old, responds to that. And then we have what's called Holy Spirit ministry, which is basically we wait on God for Him to do what He wants with us. And sometimes God heals people, sometimes God brings people into relationship with Him, and we see God move among us, which I find absolutely exciting.
The outreach program of the church is quite a big operation in our life. They're a team of women who come in and teach people from the basic skills right through to running with electrical, sewing machines and things. It's a most amazing thing of getting people to clothe themselves and their families, and then to be able to sell so that they can make money out of it. Because we were a white community, the people who lacked were the domestic workers. And so we then began to run this employment bureau, and it must have been running from the early 80s. And what we've done is it's kind of grown like Topsy. It started with helping people to find people that they could have in their homes and know that these people were reliable and they would be safe. So they come with their ID books, they come with references from previous employers, which we check. And then we began to realize that some people never got employed. They would come for months, and so we started teaching people English. We gave them skills to be better gardeners, or to learn how to cook, or to look after children. Literacy programs which we run. Some of these things have been funded by Rotary and others just to help us to do that. And then some people have never been employed, but one thing that Zulu people are really brilliant at is beadwork. And we had a man here who together with a woman who'd run a trading store years ago, who was very good in Zulu, And the two of them teamed up and they got this beadwork going, and I think we've got about 400 beaders on our books. They don't all come every week, they come at different times. They market some of their stuff here. We have now accessed orders from some of the larger retail groups. So there's quite a lot of money which now flows back into the valley. All of it goes to them. Volunteers run our program here. So it's really a way of helping people to become sufficient in themselves.
And we long to see God healing people, not just in the context of the church, but out there in the community where God actually belongs.